Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a pretty fascinating adventure. We are talking about turning old, rusty machines and forgotten items into brand new treasures. I mean, think of it as the classic hero's journey, but, for a rusty tool. Let's explore exactly how this incredible transformation actually happens.
So, ever wonder how a rusty tool becomes brand new again? If you've ever watched an old motorcycle, a beat-up engine, or even just a hand tool transform, you know it almost feels like magic. But really, it's a highly rewarding rescue mission. We're taking forgotten objects and quite literally bringing them back to life. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap. We'll move chronologically through 6 stages. 1. Starting your restoration journey. 2. Disassembly and deep cleaning. 3. The rust removal process. 4. Repair and surface prep. 5. Painting and reassembly. And finally, 6. Testing and best practices. Now, before we grab our wrenches, let's clearly define what we're actually doing here. Restoration isn't just about making things look shiny and new again. The core goal is bringing a damaged object back to life while explicitly preserving its original design and its function. Basically, we are honoring its history. Section 1. Starting your restoration journey. You absolutely want to set yourself up for success from day one, which means choosing an ideal beginner project. Don't jump straight into a highly expensive or heavily damaged object. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead, look for an old wrench, maybe a hammer, a bicycle part, or a small engine component. That way, you learn the basics without getting totally overwhelmed. Once you actually have your item, there are 2 crucial steps to follow before you even think about touching a tool. Step 1, inspect it carefully for rust, cracks, and missing parts. And step 2, which is huge, take clear photos from every single angle. It is so tempting to skip this, but having a photographic map is an absolute lifesaver when you're trying to remember where parts belong during reassembly. Section 2, disassembly and deep cleaning. Organization is one of the most important habits in restoration. I can't stress this enough. During the disassembly phase, take your time putting screws, bolts, and small parts into separate, clearly labeled containers. If you don't, I guarantee the workshop gremlins will inevitably steal a vital piece, like that legendary 10mm socket, and it's going to completely stall your entire project. Now, as you take things apart, you'll definitely encounter some hurdles. If you run into seized bolts, whatever you do, never force them. Just apply some penetrating oil and patiently wait. For hidden damage, because grease loves to hide cracks, right? Your best solution is a really thorough deep clean using degreaser, soap, or compressed air. Section 3. The rust removal process. Now, what's really interesting about this phase is that your removal technique depends entirely on the severity of the rust, because as they say, rust never sleeps. For light surface rust, simple sandpaper absolutely gets the job done. But for that heavy, stubborn decay, you'll need to step up to wire brushes, chemicals, or maybe even an electrolysis bath. And hey, safety first. Always seamlessly integrate your safety gear into this step. You literally must wear safety glasses and gloves when working with chemicals or power tools. Honestly, it only takes a split second for an accident to happen, so protect yourself before you even start grinding. Section 4. Repair and surface prep. Once things are clean, you have to strike a tricky balance between repairing and replacing. You can absolutely repair things like bent metal or worn threads. However, you should always replace cracked parts, bearings, seals, and rubber gaskets. Look, restoration isn't about saving every single original part just for the sake of it. Safety and long-term reliability always outweigh keeping a compromised piece. All right, once those necessary repairs are made, follow these surface prep steps. First up, sand the metal completely smooth. Second, remove all the dust. Seriously, even tiny dust particles left behind can absolutely ruin your final finish. And third, apply a suitable primer. Primer is essential here because it protects the bare metal from future rust and gives your paint a perfect, grippy surface to stick to. Section 5. Painting and reassembling. When it comes to painting, patience is absolutely your best friend. Always opt for several thin coats versus one thick coat. Thin coats produce a much smoother finish and significantly reduce those ugly paint runs. Make sure you allow each and every layer to fully dry. This proper curing process is what ultimately protects the object from corrosion down the line. Well, it's finally time to put the whole shebang back together. First, pull out those reference photos you took way back in step 1. Organize your parts carefully. Next, make sure you lubricate any moving parts where necessary.
Finally, tighten your bolts correctly, but be very, very careful. Do not over-tighten them. With your photos guiding you, every part should fit exactly where it belongs and move freely. Section 6. Testing and Best Practices. The first test. Whether you just restored a simple hand tool or a pretty complex engine component, it requires careful testing before regular use. You need to listen really closely for unusual noises, check for any leaks, and make sure everything operates smoothly. It's completely normal to need to make small adjustments after this first test, so definitely don't be discouraged if it needs a little tweaking. Restoration is not a race. Man, this is a golden rule because rushing is undeniably a beginner's biggest mistake. Professional restorers often spend days or even weeks on a single project. The more patient you are, the better your final result is going to be. High quality just always takes time. Let's quickly review the safety through line that applies from start to finish. You need eye protection for grinding, gloves for chemicals, and a respirator or at least a good dust mask when painting or dealing with fine dust. Above all else, maintain a clean and well-ventilated workspace. A tidy, ventilated shop is literally the easiest way to prevent accidents while you work. So, the crucial point is this. Restoration preserves history, it reduces waste, saves equipment, and it creates a sense of immense pride. As you practice your skills, things like polishing, machining, or welding, they will all grow. Don't sweat it if your first project isn't flawless. Mistakes are simply part of the learning process. Which leaves us with one question. What forgotten piece of history will you bring back to life first? I really hope this explainer has inspired you to clear off a workbench, grab some basic tools, and start your very own restoration journey today. Thanks for joining me.